So it really makes me happy when people put in a request for a video. It takes all the work out of this puny little mind right here to say, what do I do next? I've done so many videos, I'm at a loss. I don't, and then all of a sudden, Christopher Jeff C. comes in this morning and says, hey, could you do a video about vents and enclosures? Light bulb. Boom. I thought, dude, you rock. Thank you very much. Appreciate the request. Here it is. Today we're going to talk about vents in enclosures. Simply put, what does a vent do? It allows air circulation to go through an enclosure to offer fresh air for your animal. All right. Let's discuss. How much air does a snake need? All right, you take an animal that is perfectly fine being placed in a box, in a bag, 24 hours, as long as it has heat and has that little bit of air. I've been told by several people throughout the years, they don't breathe that much. They're not... The requirement is not that high demand, okay? But now I do have enclosures with vents. I have enclosures without vents. As far as I know, my two animal plastics have vents on the very top in the middle. I have my TGRs, which did their logo as a vent, so you can advertise for them. And to be honest, the enclosures that I have with no vents, my snakes are just as healthy. So let's talk about fresh air requirements on a snake. One thing that I was also told by several people throughout the years, and I'm going to show you right now, when you have an enclosure with tempered glass, you have a window track, which has a channel on the outside, a channel on the inside, and then a divider in the middle. That divider is to keep that glass from touching each other. When the humidity is high, the glass will not stick together. The problem I have with this 6-footer right back here. It was built by a local dude. He didn't know what he was doing. And I just want to take a sledgehammer to this thing. Not going to do it because it's a 6-foot enclosure. But let me show you something. If you look in between that glass, right here, you will see an opening. It is about, would say, 1/8 of an inch. I can't get at a good angle, but it's a pretty substantial gap. So you have, and by the way, I just cleaned this little bastard an hour and a half ago. What does he do? He gets in there and he pisses. Yes, you, golden child tiger. Okay, and on another note, a pissy ass cottonmouth. But anyway, all these enclosures, even this one here with, and I'm sure you're not going to be able to see it, but they all have a gap, even the animal plastics. They have a gap in between the glass panels, which is going to allow fresh air to go into the enclosure. All right, you can see Animal Plastics vent system up there at the top, to the left of the light. Now, that right there will allow the air to come in due to pressurization. If the hot air is being released out of the vent, the air is being pulled in around the glass. I get that. I do. The TGRs, I'm sure they're going to react the same way. Now, if you have a lot of vents or an excessive amount of ventilation, it's going to be harder to maintain, one, the heat, maintain a hot side and a cool side. There are also several other variants. What is the ambient temperature in your reptile room? Mine is in my basement. It's a block wall. it stays between 68 and 72 degrees. It fluctuates. If it's 20 degrees outside, it's going to be 68 in here. So by having vents, that cold air is coming in and dropping down to the bottom of the enclosure where the reptile is lying. You have a radiant heat panel, it's going to go and it's going to self-regulate in the areas, but you're still allowing the cold air to be dropped in through the vent system. Even with the glass panels, the space in between the glass panels, it's still going to let it in, but if you have that plus vents, it's going to be a lot more excessive. So, am I a fan of vents? I am not. I do not like vents. These here are all taped on the back. They're taped up to where the vents are, they're just advertising for TGR as far as I'm concerned. But as far as I know, even with my several enclosures that do not have any vents at all, other than the space between the glass, I have yet to have a hypoxic snake. None of my snakes have gotten all happy and carefree because of a lack of oxygen. I've watched them. It's not happening. Now, one of the reasons it doesn't happen on the enclosures without vents, we are changing water. We are changing substrate. We are interacting with our snake, which means we're getting it out. So every time you slide that glass open or, check the temp gun, you're checking a temp gun, making sure your temperature is good on your hot side, you are pumping in fresh air. All right, a snake does not require that much. I mean, we're talking about pretty good size enclosures as in relation to their size. So the space between the glass, I know 3 manufacturers tell me that space in between the glass is plenty of ventilation to bring the fresh air in for the snake. So the vent system, if you have a room that you keep your enclosures in, the ambient temperature is 75 up to 80 degrees. Maybe you have your reptile room is in an upstairs of a house where in the summertime it gets pretty hot. So, and that's the case, then yeah, vents, you probably want to get a little bit more airflow in there. The cooler temperatures is what I concern myself with. If I pull my snake out, it's 68 degrees in my basement, and I pull my snake out and it's really cold, the cold air is going in on the bottom of the enclosure. We all know cold air sinks, hot air rises. If you have vents on the top of your cage, that hot air is rising and going out of your vents, making it harder for your radiant heat panel to do its job. So, my vents are taped. They do great. Another thing with vents, as you can see, my humidity stays pretty high in these enclosures. I've got several that are in shed. I've given them a little spritz this morning. They haven't cleared out yet, or else I would do it again tonight. But humidity, the more venting or vents you have in your enclosure, the harder that humidity is to be maintained in the enclosure. Again, the space between the glass is more than enough to cycle in that fresh air. Interacting with our snake, whether it be changing water, changing substrate, getting it out, is going to fill that area up with fresh air, and we do that constantly. I don't know of many reptile people that invest enough money into PVC enclosures that are not interacting with their snake. So the aquariums, of course, you have the screen top. What's the biggest problem? You can't maintain humidity in the glass enclosure or the glass tanks. All of that humidity is rising. So if you throw in heat and then try to maintain your humidity in an enclosure and you got vents at the top of your enclosure, it's being pumped out. That's why it's harder to maintain your humidity in an enclosure with an excessive amount of vents. How do I solve that? I close my vents off. So Most of my snakes get out regularly. Most of them get changed their water, or all of them get their water changed out regularly. Every one of them is going to shit all the damn time or piss to where I have to take them out and clean their enclosure non-stop all the damn time. That's what it feels like. Come on, guys, you know. As soon as you clean one, they're going to shit or piss. So they're getting that fresh air. It's not something that we need to put a lot of thought into. Christopher GFC. Appreciate it, dude. Great topic. It is a great idea for a video. I hope this answers your questions. I hope it helps anybody else who is concerned about this. One other thing, let's talk about racks for a second. I've got a rack system here with the ventilation is right there. You can see where it goes all the way back to the red wall there. So the airflow goes over top. Cool. The airflow goes through, we got fresh air. But did you see the size of that gap? That right there is actually smaller than the gap on the windows of the enclosures. Granted, we all know physics. We all know that air has to be able to flow. Trust me, doing any kind of construction or even pest control, we know that if you have a crawl space, you have to have vents on both sides in order to let the air flow. Okay, that's great, but we're not taking the whole front of the house off and putting it back on once a day, or every other day to change water, or taking our raccoons out from our crawl space. So yeah, you kind of need that. As far as oxygen levels, plenty of enough space between the glass to give that snake the fresh air it needs. The vents, in my opinion, cause more trouble than what they're worth. Harder to maintain humidity, harder to maintain your temperatures if the ambient temperature in your snake room is lower than what most people keep. Right now my heat just kicked on, so it's going to be up to 71, 72 degrees in here. Yeah, the vents aren't going to be that much of an issue. To me, if it's cooler, get away from the vents. If you have a house that maintains 75 degrees in the winter, put the vents in. You're going to have a harder time with the humidity, though. That's the only problem. So, personal preference, I don't like vents. They get enough, I don't have any hypoxic snakes, so I'm against them. Hope that helps you guys. Christopher GFC, again, thank you very much for the request. Hope it helps anybody. And if you have any questions, if you have a rebuttal, if you think, you know what, this guy's an idiot, I've got to correct him, put it in the comments below. I'm all about corrective criticism. If I'm wrong, tell me. If you have a request for a video that you want to see or have a question about, drop it in the comments. I'll be glad to get to it. Granted, I can't get to it as fast as what I did with Christopher's and this other guy about a month ago. He asked me, and I think I got on his video like 20 minutes after he asked. So all of them may not be that quick, but I will get to them. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Don't drink and drive, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.